giving to the market. Now, if you as a person wanting to actually have this light, you need to actually go to the market, all right? And then that is where the electricity generates. You can put plastic to connect, or you can put copper to connect, or you can put iron to connect. The result of this brightness is different. That means to say the value that you give in the market depend and dictate how much money you make. Okay, so you must understand, hard working by digging the ground does not guarantee you profit. So you must understand that. So in order for us to understand, once we understand that, then we say, okay, I don't want this. That is the reason why all of us, we move to not doing the work for people, trading our time, but we move into profit. So, but when we talk about profit, then the logic of this will be different, all right? How do we actually make profit then? So instead of us using our 8 hours to trade for time, that is where we need to understand we need to actually start a company. That is why we started a company. And that is where you, all right, having your 8 hire more people. All right. So when you start to hire more people, what happened? Right. When you start to hire more people, you are using your 8 to manage other people's 8. So that is where now you start to leverage on people. So this is where the profit comes in. All right. So the key in all for us to do this is actually to understand that, we need people to leverage it. So means to say you are using your 8 hours to leverage these people, but why must these people work for you? So this is where also the KPI will come in. How do we actually give them the salary, the bonus, the allowance, the incentive to make them happy? Now, not only that, if we actually come to a class called DNA, then you must understand that as well. Not everybody is into money. Some people are into love. Some people are into balance, work-life balance. Some people are into authority, power. So the things that you give to them, the KPI that you give to them is different. It's not all about money. For example, to actually make a person motivated, if that person is an aesthetic, purple color, if you still remember, all right, work-life balance, they don't want only money. They want to travel. They want to go for a holiday. So the incentive of the company need to be balanced, because the incentive is not giving money directly to the employee. The incentive is actually buying an airplane ticket and also a hotel stay and also the event company to run the event in a resort so that everybody will be happy. But some people, on the other hand, is different. They want money. They say, forget about the happy thing. Forget about going, sitting on airplane, going to a holiday. I just want money. So it's for us to understand that. Then how do we balance off the KPI? When they achieve something, what are the things that we should be rewarding them? What is in for them? So we need to understand that framework. So this, what we call exit plan, when we talk about KPI, the perspective and the view of you looking at matters are different, but fundamental is still the same. So many people, so they will what? They will be stuck here. Okay, the reason why is because what we want to achieve this is what we call less of you. That's number one. Number two, continue growth. That's number 2. So all of us want that. Less of you, continuous growth. In order for us to understand that, this is where we talk about we need to go to another level. That is where we need to understand what is model. All right. So we need to actually then understand what is the business model. So when we talk about model, then the framework will be different. All right. So what I mean by that, when you talk about model, then we need to understand that, how do you actually get in? Sorry, we need blue pen. All right. How do you actually get in? And how do you actually get out? This is where we talk about the blueprint. All right. So this is where this exit plan comes in. All right. So it means to say the model must have a framework how to get in and how to get out from your business. So, but many people don't understand this. And that is the reason why we come for this class. This class is what we call the 3+1 business model. Still remember? So when we talk about 3+1 business model, then what is all about? If you still remember, the 3+1 is, remember this? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. 1, 2, 3. Yes. So the 3+1 is PD1, PD2, and PD3 plus Patungsan. Remember? So we need to actually make money, all right? So that make money in the PD so that we can actually what? Take this in each PD and we what? We transfer it here. So this is where we understand, this is where the reason why we work for it, because this can be what we call US dollar 1 million, but after 5 years, it can be 2.5 million. This is where we talk about our value. All right. So means to say, in order for us to understand this, all right, so the key to really understand is this. How do you actually use this, all right, to actually what? To actually help you to actually create this. So that you actually what? Reward them what they want. All right. So means to say, we are actually wanting them to what we call give us this thing called cash flow. So they are the people who actually bringing us the cash flow, all right, so that we can use the cash flow to buy the property. So in order for that, you what? You reward them. So now the whole proposition now looks different. So the way when you first started to come in PCI, when I share with you this exit plan, and when we understand that is on business model itself. Now, when you talk about KPI, we need to focus on the human part of it. So we need to understand that, what is in for them. So that is the reward. So when you and me understand this, that, being in the business, at the end of the day, we don't get anything in return, because the thing is, the cash flow need to actually what? Grow the business. But through the what? Through the +1, right? That is where the cash flow to the +1 will make our Y. All right, this is our Y. For the employee, the Y is the reward. This is the employee Y. Are we clear? All right. So these are two different Y. So means to say your Y is this. The employee Y is this. Are we clear? All right. How many of you feel that? Wow. Okay. Now I'm more clearer. Type 222, please. Type 222. So how do we actually what we call get a balance out of what we have just said? All right. How do you actually get a balance out of it? All right. What is your why and what is their why? All right. So having said that, then we go on to the higher plane where we are talking about this is not easy. This is where we go to the capital market. Okay. So in the capital market, so there are only what we call so much things you can do. Either number one, you go IPO. Number two, IPO acquire you, acquisition, or joint venture, right? They acquire you, or number three, patungsan, because bank give you value. So that is the whole framework of why are we here today. All right. The key for us to understand this is actually how do we actually use our 8, 8, 8. All right. So the first 8 where we talk about it is we need to actually what? Leverage. Okay. That is where we work. All right. Then the second 8 is what? Our mindset. Where it depends on how we think. And our thinking, our mindset, it's all about what? Exit plan. And finally, model. All right. So this is where we understand the 8 is actually we use our working time. The another 8 is personal time. And our 8 is sleeping time. All right. So this is the whole framework of exit plan. But in order for us to understand and create an exit plan, we must understand what? We must understand that what is our why. All right. So I hope having this framework that I just shared with you, that you understand why do we even want to actually what we call do what we do, right? Or not. It's what we call it's very not worth it because at the end of the day, we got so many moving parts to take care of. So that is where, we must be clear on what we want. All right. So having said that, now how do you actually then relate this to KPI now? All right. So now let's talk about KPI now. All right. So that you understand, how do we relate this with what we just shared. All right. So let's talk about what is KPI now. Because at the end of the day, we need to manage people. Okay. What is in for me? So if you want to actually get something, then we need to actually measure this thing called KPI. This is what we call key performance index. Okay. So you do what to get what in return. So that is the framework of the KPI. So when we talk about the framework of KPI, then we need to actually look slightly deeper. All right. So what I mean by slightly deeper, so let me draw this and then let us understand much clearer. Okay. So this is actually a framework. Okay. So now, having said that, Okay, so the normal way how we do business is where we started a person, that's you and me. Okay, this is where the client, all right, actually the client is the one that give you the money. All right, so what you do is that you are actually giving what, a value, okay, so that you can get money. So the key is when you want to get value, the whole idea is where you give them a product. Okay. So when you give them a product, it can be hard or soft. Hard means to say physical product. Soft means to say service. So we are actually giving them product, right? So when we give them product, so what they do back, they actually give us money. Okay. So this is the, sorry, let me draw it lesser. So they give us money. Okay. So this is a typical way of doing things. You started alone. But when you have team, all right, so this is where uh, it comes more complicated. Because when you have team, that's different already. So when you have team, this is where we talk about you are a business owner. Okay, you are a business owner. Okay. Now, when you have a business owner, instead of you directly giving to that person, which you need to trade your 8 hours for it, what you do is you hire what? You hire a team. All right. So instead of you as a business owner doing it, so what you actually do, you actually ask the team to do it. So in order for you to ask the team to do it, so you need to what? You need to actually give the team money. So you need to actually give the team to do money. All right. So then when you give the team to give money to the team will actually then give value to your client. All right. So your team will actually give money, give what we call um sorry, you actually pay money. Sorry. Let me you pay money. You pay your team, all right? And then your client give money. All right. So that is where what we call the framework. All right. So to understand that, so the team give value. That is the product. Okay. So having said that, in order for us to tie all these things together, then this loop to continue this all the way, the only way how to actually continue this is actually this thing called mutual benefit. So I want all of us to write this thing down called mutual benefit. Okay, and it's very, very important. Okay. In order for this circle to continue its circle, all right, or we call it the flywheel, all right, we must have continuously build mutual benefit around this flywheel circle. All right. So is it okay that I ask you all to write mutual benefit in your computer screen in the comment box? All right. So the key that I want you all to remember is mutual benefit. Now mutual benefit can only do this. Okay, I can only do this. All right. So when the client give us money, all right, you can write it in Vietnamese. Thank you for writing. Yeah. So when the client give us money, we must make sure that our pot, okay, that our profit is lesser than our cost. Okay, so we must make sure that we understand this. In order for this thing to work, the profit must be more than the cost to actually get this balance. Are we clear? So in order for us to understand this now, the KPI becomes very clear. Okay. So in order for us to actually continue the loop, we must have what we call mutual benefit. So how do we actually create mutual benefit? That is the question that we all need to actually answer. All right. If you don't have mutual benefit, there's no reason why your employee will work for you. All right. So means to say the business owner must have benefit. At the end, they need to actually get money. The team must also have benefit. At the end, salary and bonus and allowance and what we call incentive and profit share. There are what we call 8 types of incentive. All right, so 8 types of reward, which we will learn, and what we call the team that deliver the product or services to the client. So in order for us to understand this, all right, we must understand when we deal with people, you must understand what is their benefit. What is the mutual benefit? You cannot have one side person benefiting from a thing. You need to actually have both side or 3 side. In our case, 3 side. All right. If you understand this, type 333. All right. So in order for us to understand our business to continually grow, it's not only P multiply M. P multiply M, there's only a limit that you can do. In order for us to actually make our company grow, we need to actually have the T. So the P, the M, the T is a triangle. We need to actually make it into a mutual benefit so that we can manage it lesser. So how to actually do less of you? So this is where now we need to actually come in and go in deeper on this topic. Less of you. All right, so that we can understand this whole what we call framework first before we go into the detail of things. All right, so in order for us to understand this, how do we continually have this thing called team growth? Because at the end of the day, we want to what? Exit. Less of us continuously grow. So in order for us to have to less of us continuously grow, then we need to actually draw a chart so that we can understand better on our what we call condition, why we do what we do. All right. So basically, when we talk about this, then this is money, right? This is time. Okay. So we understand that. So we split this into four section. Then you will understand better. Okay. So when we start, all right, when we start our business, okay, when we start our business, all right. So when we start our business, let me position it correctly. So when we start our business, you as a business owner, all right, what you want is actually you want to actually give value to the client, all right. So in order for us to give value to the client, all right, you give your client a product. That one we can understand. All right. Then the client gives us money in return. This is very basic. All right. But if you want to go another level higher, that is where the mutual benefit comes in. So it become a triangle relationship where you as the owner having a team and going to the client. All right. So means to say, you as a owner will actually pay money. Okay. And the team would deliver the what we call value, and the client then give you money. This is where we talk about mutual benefit. Okay. So now when we talk about that, then as what we call our time, our time pass. All right. So as we grow our business, all right, we want to actually make it less of us. Now, when we want to actually make of less of us, what must we do? Okay, so this is where this thing come in now. All right. So this is the triangle. Okay, that is our objective. All right. So this is our triangle. Okay. So no longer you want to be the owner. You want to actually put a BOD. What is that? It's called board of director. Okay. Board of director actually control the team, which the team will give value to the client. This is where you would be, because you control the board of director, and this is where you actually exit. All right. So means to say the board of director replacing you actually pay money. So they are supposed to actually take care of your company to pay money to your team. And then your team then what? Deliver what? Value to your client. And your client then what? Give you money. And this is where we must understand again why the board of director want to be in with you. Again, this is called mutual benefit. All right. So when we talk about mutual benefit, then we must understand that mutual benefit is all about what? Money. All right. Mutual benefit is all about money. So this is 1 star, 2 star, 3 star. All right. So in order for us to actually understand this, all right, for us to actually exit, we need to actually build the business cash flow so that it will give to what? Us to what? Buy what? Patungsan. Are we clear? So the patungsan, we can do what? We can leverage. So that we leverage from 1 million, right, with what we call two things. Remember that we mentioned that we talk about inflation plus high demand area. 1 million become 2 million, become 4 million. This is how we exit. How many of you right now are much, much more clearer on why we need a team? Type 333. It is very important. I want all of us to actually look at this so that we can continue with the class more clearer picture. Why are we in this class in the first place? All right. Because this thing would not work if we do not have mutual benefit. If we don't tie the mutual benefit together, it is very difficult for us to exit. So I always tell people, right? In fact, I'm for myself as well. I've learned my own lesson. I've done many, many wrong things. When I make money, I spend for myself. That is not the right way to do things. When you make the money, you actually create the mutual benefit. I say again, when you make money, you actually create the mutual benefit ecosystem so that they will take the profit, they will enjoy the benefit. We will take part of that profit to build our exit plan. Once we build our exit plan, that is only when we spend. A lot of people, they make money, they spend, then only build exit plan. So our framework is we make money, we build what we call mutual benefit, all right? We build the business, right, to buy property and then only spend. Okay, how many of you feel that, wow, this is something very interesting? You learn something new. Type 888. So it's not about making money and spending money and then only buy property. It's about making money, buying property, then only spend your money. Are we clear? All right. I say again, it's about making the money, then not spending the money. Sorry, there are two ways. Make money, spend money, whatever is left, buy property. That's number one. Or number two, make money, buy property, then only when property make money, you spend money. Which one you want? One or two? Type. One or two. Are we understanding each other? So this is basically my experience in doing business. When you make money in business, don't spend it. Use the money to build Patongsan so that Patongsan, with inflation, with good location, with leverage from the bank, safely, when you come to die with massive debt, you understand what I'm trying to say. Because if you don't come to a die with massive debt, you will not understand what I say. Safely building it 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, then only you can spend the money. So build a business to actually build a value rather than build a business, spend the money, only build value on the remainder. Do not do that. All right. So I hope that this gives you a framework to let you understand. All right. If you are in business, the only way how you can sustain the business is mutual benefit. So when you have a mutual benefit locked in together, then it will create constant what? Cash flow. Are we clear? It will create constant cash flow. All right. So if you don't do that, all right, and you immediately, from what we call this level here, all right, okay, from this level here, if you move directly to here, what happened? All right, you have a what? A job. Yeah, means to say just over broke. All right. Are we clear? So why are we talking like this? And why are we saying all this? It's because you must understand what is the purpose of the business. If the purpose of the business is not for you to actually create value in the long term, then the business is not worth doing, isn't it? So that is the reason why I always tell our what we call um, student that what is the reason why we want to do business. All right, the reason why we want to do business is exit plan. So that is also why I say a business that is run not tied or not married with property is not worth doing. I say again, a business run that is not married to property is not worth doing. Why? Because at the end of the day, no matter how big the business grow, you will always need capital to grow that children, that child. So if you don't understand what is exit plan, it's not worth doing. But in order for you to create exit plan, the mutual benefit must come in. So when you do a mutual benefit, a lot of people say, I don't want to bother with KPI. I just want to make money and run with it. You cannot do that, because no one will be a toy to you forever. Unless or otherwise we create mutual benefit together for the next 3, 5, 7 years. Don't take the money and use it for yourself. Take the money to build the business. Think mutual benefit. What you want is the exit plan of Patongsan. Because no matter how much money you make, you will not exit. The business is not worth it. How many of you feel that this is a new thing that I think it's not a new thing. It's more like you are much more clearer, type 777. So you in order for you to actually constantly grow, you must understand that, you need to create a mutual benefit. This is where the KPI comes in. Who do what? If you do this, what you get? This is where the mutual benefit comes in, where everything is cleared in front first before something happen. So if you do this, what you will get, what I will get, because at the end of the day, the client know what they are getting very clearly in the first place, because the client want the product or service. But the problem is the back. We need to actually be clear on the mutual benefit of our manager, of our sales team, of our marketing, of our finance, of our account, of our admin, of our production. What is in for them? So for us to actually build a whole system up, right? So that is a framework that I want to remind all of us. Okay. So having said that, then how to measure now? Okay. So I hope from what we call this what we call sharing, that you will see a bigger picture. Why? If not, it's like, why do I need to actually bother with what we call bother with what we call this KPI thing? I don't need or this KPI thing. You need the KPI thing because you need to form what? Mutual benefit. Okay. I say again. Okay, all of us type here again, mutual benefit. All right. In Vietnamese, that's no problem. All right. Mutual benefit. So in order for us to do that, you can only continue to understand to be what we agreed upon. That is how we can actually less of us continuous growth. All right. How can we actually do less of us continuous growth? Is by exit plan. Mutual benefit. So this is a very important keyword for us to understand when we want to actually do KPI. What is the mutual benefit? All right. So in order for us to what we call understand this, and then we need to create a why. Okay. So then we need to actually understand this framework. I give you a what we call a yardstick, a measurement, all right, of what we call how to give mutual benefit. All right. So this is very, very extremely important. Okay. So I give you an example of this framework, and then we go for a break so that you understand the whole concept of this KPI. Okay. So basically, when we talk about sales, let's say $10. Okay, $10. Okay. And we have costs, let's say $8. Okay. And our profit is $2. Okay. So this is where what we call the logic of economics. Okay. So the logic of a business. Okay. The logic of a business. So the key is if you do it yourself, $10 minus $8 equals to $2. Okay. But if you actually think about what effort can you do, all right, to actually what we call increase 10% of your $10, okay, and also decrease 10% of your $8, what would be the result be? All right. So if you increase $10 to 10% is $11. And if you decrease $8, 10% is 80 cents. It's almost what? $7. All right. Now the net effect of this is no longer 10% of $2. The net effect of this is actually $4. That means to say there's a jump of 100% of profit because this is what we call sales, and this is what we call cost, and this is what we call profit. Okay. So in order for us to increase 10% and decrease 10%, the key is who is doing this, who is doing this, and how do you actually multiply many times of the $4. That's the X. Who is doing this? Are we clear? So at the end of the day, it's still human that does this job. Would you agree? Who is actually pushing the sales up? Who is actually maintaining the cost or reducing the cost? And who is actually growing the profit? Right. So this is where you need people. This is where the mutual benefit of these people that must come in already. So basically, when you talk like that, then the person will ask, "What is my benefit?" All right. What is my benefit? What is my benefit? So then the key is how do you actually, at the end of the day, create what? Create this loop. How do we actually can come and be at this position always? All right. How do we actually create this position always? So that is where I hope that, our reason why that we do what we do can be very clear. So it's either you move up, right, then slowly go here. Because if you do not want to actually create a mutual benefit, you actually do what? You are going here. Are we clear? All right. So the key is going up here, starting by to understand mutual benefit, and then going up here, because at the end of the day, this is your exit plan. All right. Or else you do not want to create mutual benefit. You just want to actually pay them for what they are worth, and you don't want to create a system, then you will come here. You are actually having a job. This is the problem with many business owners where they cannot have a breakthrough because they don't see this picture in a large framework. A lot of people, they say, I rather maintain myself, do it myself. If you do it yourself, how can you buy this? Would you agree? If you do it yourself, you cannot do that. It's too slow. Right? So what you want to do is to build a business cash flow where you are more desirable in front of the bank. And not only that, you have a team, a system in place that they can create cash flow for you as long as you don't lose money. All right. And make a little bit of money, take that money, use the cash flow of the company to make yourself eligible to actually buy patongsan, and then use that patongsan collecting what? Rental. And whatever that is not enough, what you do? You use your company cash flow to actually make that property alive, stay afloat, while letting the inflation work itself, and also what we call the demand work itself by you coming to Die with Massive Debt program. So, but once you understand that framework, everything makes more sense. Would you agree? So that is the reason why the key is in KPI. My question to you this is, who is these people? Who is these people? How do you reward them? My question is this. All right. So the key is, we come to the class for this KPI class. We need to understand, what is the benefit of these people? How do we reward them accordingly if they do their work and stuff like that? All right. So I hope this gives you a clearer picture on why are we here this morning. How many of you, based on this morning's section, you learn I know you know this material, but you are much, much more clearer, all right, on why do we need to actually reward our people. Because the key is mutual benefit for the cash flow for us to build our exit plan. Are we clear now? All right. Mutual benefit. That is the key. All right. We build business to actually build cash flow, okay, so that we can qualify to buy property. By using less of us, continuous growth, we need human in order for us to actually use that human, right, to actually cooperate with us to achieve something bigger. We must have mutual benefit. So that is the framework why our reason of learning the KPI. All right. So let me ask you this question, okay? So that I want to keep us all in check and balance. Okay. What is the whole keyword of us this morning? Okay. How many of you can type? Okay. I want to actually, stress the things that I really stress. What is the keyword that I want to stress this morning on this section? All right. Very good. Mutual benefit. Exactly. Awesome. The KPI is basically talking about mutual benefit. And that's it. And it's a full stop. That's it. All right. Mutual benefit. So that you get what you want, I get what I want. All right. So that is the whole essence of mutual, what we call the KPI. Or not, we don't need KPI. You know what I'm saying? So if you do something, all right, and you don't get it, you don't get the reward, then I don't do it for you in the long term because I am not benefited. So the whole key in KPI is mutual benefit. All right. So I hope this session is valuable to you. All right, and it's a what we call it's not a new idea, it's not a new concept, but it's just a reason why. All right, why that we need to create KPI, and KPI is not easy to set, and thank God today it's much easier, because the previous time where I teach KPI, it's not easy because we are busy with product, we are busy with market, we are busy with team. But the beautiful part right now with KPI is we can use AI. The AI really helps us a lot. How many of you use a lot of AI nowadays? Type 888. So the it's no longer about learning anymore, because the AI learn much faster than us. Would you agree? So it's more of us understanding first principle, the foundation, the core message, for us to understand that framework, we can easily prompt AI. Would you agree? So, but if we don't understand the framework, we don't know how to ask question to the AI. Would you agree? So that is also the reason why I say, the education market is very, very different now, right? Because the thing is, it's no longer, you don't need to talk to me about motivation and stuff like that, because AI will motivate me better than a lot of people. The key right now is to find the core foundation, the DNA of why. Right. So once we understand the why, we ask better question. And when we ask better question, we get better answer from the AI. And a lot of data sets, our profit and loss, our balance sheet, our income statement, we don't need to look it anymore. All right. We can just take a photo, put it into the AI. The AI will read the whole income statement, balance sheet, and profit and loss for us. Would you agree? And then from there onward, what you want the AI to do, you then must ask good question. Would you agree? So to understand what we call um, um, how to build the KPI is basically understand the core foundation why the KPI exists in the first place. Would you agree? So in order for us to understand why the KPI exists in the first place, we need to understand the core element. And the core element is actually mutual benefit. So it means to say, when we even prompt AI, the key framework, the key context is all about mutual benefit. So when I speak to another person, when I speak to my director, when I speak to my business partner, when I speak to my employee, when I speak to even the auntie that's sweeping the floor, right? The key is, how do I create a mutual benefit between me and the sweeping floor auntie? How do I share with that person, or convince that person, or sway that person's opinion to the objective of the company, so that they will also feel benefited? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's all about key questions, So that's why, if I asked my old students also, I said, if possible, come to the class again, because with the AI nowadays, a lot of things has changed. The way how I teach our material is also changed. The reason why is because the AI do the heavy lifting. We don't need to do the heavy lifting anymore. We just need to ask smart questions. Would you agree? Yeah. So this is where this 2 day, it's a different method, uh, where is I don't use to teach, because the thing is, the AI actually gives us a lot of solution, and we can make very fast decision. Would you agree? All right. So I hope you enjoyed this session. We'll take a 10-minute break, and then after that we'll come back in. Okay. So before we take a 10-minute break, I would want to actually let all of us to discuss about what I just shared. Okay. If possible, type on the right hand side, on the comment box, what have you learned, so all of us can actually participate. Now I do really hope that um, um, uh, try to actually type down the things that you feel, and how you feel about this morning session, because it's very important. And what I want you to share about is, what was your previous thought about rewarding your employee? And after this session, what is your new thoughts about rewarding your team? All right. So your previous thought about rewarding your team, and the new thoughts about rewarding your team after this word called mutual benefit. So please do share how you feel about it. Okay, you can write it in Vietnamese also, no problem. And if you can, write in Vietnamese and translate to English, so I can better read it. So then it will be more on the discussion basis, because it's not about just teaching anymore, because the AI can do a lot of things. heavy lifting. So I hope this 2 days session is more on us discussing and giving opinions and asking question that can build a KPI for your company. So our objective is actually, this 2 days is to build the KPI for our company, a KPI system. All right. So we take a 10-minute break. All right. Then we'll come back in. So now it's 10:20. 10:20. Then we come back at 10. Sorry. Now is no. Now is 10:20. We come back at 10:30. Thank you.
You are the shadow to my light. Did you